tutorial, it's more like you guys are meant to talk anyway, right? So I guess that works. Okay, so what did we get to? We managed to create a repository on GitHub. We've cloned it, and we've also just done a quick little pull test, and it works. Okay, I'm getting like a, huh? Okay, so go into the folder, which is your Git repository on your computer. So you can see here, I'm in C my dev client bottle, and I've just typed git pull. Sorry.
Can you share your screen, please?
Oh my god, what? I keep pressing share and it's not sharing. What's going on? How about now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, cool. So you can see I'm in my client bottle folder, and I've run the command git pull, and it's telling me it's already up to date. Cool? Okay. Now, if you have a Flask server already set up on your computer, you know, you've done that for the hops thing, now's the time to go copy that into this folder. Okay? We're gonna name, just to make it really easy with the way that Python Anywhere is set up, just to make it basically the same, we're going to rename the file flask_app.py, okay? But otherwise, that's, you know, we're going to copy it in and rename it. Now, for those of you who have not done the Flask tutorial, what we're going to do is we're going to copy the Flask app from Python Anywhere. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start my IDE. So I'm going to use Sublime Text. You could use VS Code. You could literally use a text, like the Notepad editor if you want. And the key factors of this, and I'm going to just keep them up on the screen for you.
I've had issues with it where, so do you know how when, like in the hops, like example video, like where it kind of runs you through how to install and everything?
Yeah.
When I add the link to the hops, what's it called?
The Hop server?
Yeah.
When you try and install Hop server?
No. So when I'm like trying to like add a link to the function, the hops function.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything.
Okay, let's deal with that in a second, okay? Yeah. We'll deal with that in a moment. Key thing here is we want to import, so from Flask, import Flask. This is for anyone who hasn't run hops. We're going to write app equals flask_name. We're going to go app.root/def hello world. So this is the function. And rather than saying hello from Flask, I'm just going to add hello from Andrew from UNSW code. Let's just change it so that, you know, when we actually host this thing on the internet, we know that it's doing that. So I'm going to go save that in that folder for client bottle. I'm going to make sure I'm naming it flask_app.py. And there it is. Those of you, actually, one last thing that we will do. I'll also just run import requests. I feel like requests is already installed on the hops server. I mean, sorry, the Python Anywhere server. So let me think of another one. Let me actually go, I'll go run a bash console and see what's there. Yeah, they've got everything. Import numpy. Oh, they've got it all. Okay, whatever. What they won't have is Rhino 3DM, which you guys need to run your server, right? They don't have it. So look, how about we do that? I will just make sure this is running pip install Rhino 3DM, and we'll just make sure. The only reason I'm doing this is so that we can run. We're going to have to make a virtual environment on Python Anywhere, and this kind of forces Python Anywhere to break because it doesn't have Rhino 3DM, right? So I'm going to add from Rhino 3DM import all. Even if you're not using hops, you should add this to your code because we do want to work on a virtual environment, and it's worth doing this just to see how it's going. Cool. So that's saved into my file, and in our command prompt, rather than doing a git push, like look, if I actually try to do a git push, it complains. Please complain. First time I've seen this. Okay, so everything's up to date. So see when I run git push, it says everything's up to date. It doesn't tell me that it's sending anything, right? So why is that?
Put your name down.
Say it louder. Pardon? We haven't committed, yeah, so we haven't committed the changes that we've made to the code, right? So when we run a push, what's actually happening is the system doesn't just look at what's in that folder and push everything up. It only pushes up what we've committed. So we have to run a git commit first. And I believe you can just type git commit, but you might have to do some options, but let's just try git commit. Okay, so it's saying, hey, we've noticed that this has changed, Flask app. Nothing added to commit, but untracked files present. Use git add to track. Now, a nice little short, so what this is saying is we have to manually add flask app.py to a commit before we write a commit. So there's a nice little shortcut that we can do if we just want to commit everything all at once, and that is git commit -a, and that commits everything. Who's got their audio? Who's on Teams?
Me.
No, I'm getting my audio back.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone in the room on Teams at the moment? Okay, cool. I'm just so loud that it's feeding back. Okay, cool. So if I go git commit -a, that is telling the system. Oh my god, what?
In VS Code, like, can you just go to source control and it's the same thing?
Oh, sorry, it's git. Yes, you can. You can do all of. Look, I'm doing this the hard way.
Yeah.
Doing it the hard way. If you want to work out how to do it an easier way, you can. Okay. So git commit. Oh, that's right. We've got to add a message. Git commit m, and then we've got to type a word. So I'm just going to go Flask app. Damn it. This one? think it's git commit a Flask app.
Underscore app.
Hang on. No. I'm just I'm trying to give it a name. Git commit m Flask. Use git add. So let's just do it. Git add Flask underscore app.py. Now git commit -m Flask. Okay, so we've got to add this Flask app to the git. So we do that by typing git add Flask app.py. And then we run git commit. So that's git commit -m Flask, or whatever you want to name it. Now I can run git push, and that will upload my changes to the repository. And there we go. It's checking. So the delta means changes. So change compression, using up to 8 threads, compressing objects, blah, blah, blah. Uploading that to the system. And it's overridden the main fork with a new main fork. Like, it's been updated. So I will double check with you guys to see if that's worked for you in a second. But if I go back to my GitHub repository, I hit refresh, there you can see there's Flask underscore app.py living in that repository. Now, do I need to go over the commands that need to be run in this again? No? Let me just, I don't trust you. I'm gonna just go over them one more time. Git add Flask underscore app.py. Then git commit -m, the name of the commit that you want to give it, and then git push. Cool? One more time. Git add Flask underscore app.py, git commit -m Flask, git push. You can name, so this can be any name you want, because you're naming the commit stage. So we could call this initial or whatever. Okay, so we now have a Flask app sitting on GitHub. Let's jump back to Python Anywhere.
Andrew, what was after the git?
Git commit -m and then a name. So I believe -m stands for git manual, maybe? Options. Message. So M stands for the name. It's putting a name. Its message stands for the name of that commitment.
When I do that, mine's coming up saying, "Tell me who you
Oh
are."
yeah. Do you mind just sharing your screen so I can see? Author identity unknown. Please tell me who you are. Run. So if you type git space config. Yeah. Global space user.email. And then your GitHub user email. Sweet tea.
Salty tea.
Huh?
Tea's always good. I love tea.
I think that's enough. That's all you have to do. Yeah, no, just keep going. You can write your name in. Tell them who you are. Pardon? Yes. Yeah, let's just get Josh through this. Okay, now try it. Did that work? Looks like it worked.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Great. Thanks.
No worries. Sailor. Where did you get up to? Pardon? So we want to do git add. By the way, once you've done git add to one file, you don't have to do it again. Do you mind sharing? Are you on Teams? Can you jump on the Teams and share your screen and we'll fix it? I kind of like this Teams hybrid thing in class because, yeah, it means I don't have to like shove my bum in Declan's face to fix the problem. Yeah. Oh, what are you doing? You're running this in the command of VS Code, but that's, I guess, fine. Your Flask app file name is not flask _ app.py. It's from Flask import flask.py. Yeah. It's whatever you're going to type in. Yeah, I believe you can press up. Also, just so you know, so Coding Life is the folder that you're in, but where's our GitHub? Where did you put the Git repository? So can you type dir? So we're in Git. Can you just type Git pull? I just want to see if that works. Okay. Now the Flask _ app.py, it's not in this folder. We need to save it in this Salo Coding Life folder. So just hit Control S. Oh, sorry, is it Control Shift S? And we got to go to C users. Yep. Coding Life. Cool. Now you can run that git add. Yep, that got added, and now let's do the commit. -m, and then the message that you want to write. Yeah, you can write anything if you want. Yeah. Cool, and now run git push. Cool, so that just told me that it uploaded. You can jump over to your GitHub repository online and refresh and you'll be able to see it. See? Hey. Okay. Is anyone else stuck? Okay. Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah. Just a second.
Are you stuck?
Okay. I had a bit problem with the safety issues, but now solved.
Okay.
You see this, like unsafe code, but well, I saved it with adding a new safety directionary authorization.
Yeah.
And what next?
Hang on a moment. Your repository's on a local server, 192.168.8.12.
Yeah.
It-
It's on a local server, which this server is in my workshop.
Sorry. So are you gonna? Does Python Anywhere have access to this Git repository?
Yep.
So Python Anywhere has access to that IP address.
Which one you mean? Like,
Where are you using GitHub to store this, or are you using another Git server?
I'm using GitHub.
Okay, cool. Okay, so sorry, go back. So,
Yeah.
can you just type? So is Al Gore the repository name?
Yep.
So just type dir and hit enter.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got a Flask app there. And just so type git add flask underscore app dot py.
FLASK.
Yeah.
Flask.py.
No, underscore.
Underscore.
It's 3 lines above you. Copy that. Yeah. No. Flask underscore app.
Wait, which one?
Look, see, look 3 lines above where you're typing. Can you
Wait a sec.
look at the very bottom of the command prompt? Go up 3 lines. Look up 3 lines. You can see there's 1334, 1303, and to the right you can see 147 and 7. And to the right of that, under the header name, you can see flask underscore app dot py. That. You want to copy? You want to type that in? That's the name of your file.
Oops. Sorry.
No worries.
Okay. I got what are you doing?
What this is doing is it's adding that file to your Git environment. So hit enter.
Yeah. Enter. System loading.
Cool, that's done. Now we've got to commit the changes that we've made. So we do git commit.
Yes.
-m.
Dash and
No, that's a dot.
yeah, that dash.
Dash is what you thought was an underscore. No, that's a backslash. Space. Space. Yep. M. And now write a message. Whatever you want. You can call it initial. Yep. That's enough. Enter.
Loading done.
Okay, so now you've got to do exactly what Josh did. You've got to.
Yeah.
So just follow through those 2 commands, but type your email and your name. Yes.
Fine, whatever.
I wish I could somehow give you all like the same computer.
Chocolate could do that, but it's a pain.
Do you know what I mean? Like so then I can just be like, it works. But to be honest, like half of code is dealing with all of these problems. And like so even though this didn't happen to you, it's worth watching. So you watch someone else solve the problem so that later when you jump on your computer at home and this problem does pop up, you're like, haha, this happened to Josh or this happened to Ding Wen. Okay, git. Run that git commit again. Just press up. No, just press up on the keyboard. Up.
to
One more. Yep. Enter.
oh,
Ta-da! And now git
nothing. Yes.
git push.
Hello.
Yeah. Sign in with your browser. Geez, they're adding so much like security to this, but I guess it makes sense. Pardon? No, you also have to now do like an authorization through the web browser, depending on how the newer version of Git you use.
Done. Installation bit done.
Cool, that's done. Now go check your GitHub webpage.
Page checking.
What do I have control?
Happy.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Is there anyone else who has issues before I continue? Gabriella, do you want to share your screen?
Sorry, Andrew.
Yeah.
So from the code from Rhino 3DM import installation.
Yeah.
What did you import?
I imported Rhino 3DM.
Yeah, and then
Import star. It doesn't matter. You can just write import Rhino 3DM, or you can write it like this. As long as it's getting imported, I'm happy, because it means we need to set up a virtual environment. Yeah, we push after we commit. Okay, Gabriella. Permission to Gabby Sasvari Digito .git denied to G Sasvari unable to access blah blah blah. It's a 403 error. So can you run just git pull for a second? That works. And you were able to run a git commit? Yeah. Okay. And so then when you run git push, it gives you that error? And have you looked up, I'm guessing you were looking up how to refresh this or whatever, and that's why they've asked you to put in git config global unset HTTP proxy? Kerry told you to do that? Is that you just got that from Google or something? Can we, hang on, I'll look it up as well.
I got dibs on you next.
You got dibs on me next? Okay. Okay, cool. Denied. Git push denied. Thanks, Carrie. Thanks, Carson.
Yeah, why not?
If we've just like a question.
Yeah.
But if we've installed a added an virtual environment to a different project folder, do we have to use the same command to create another virtual environment in the current one that?
What I would avoid doing at all costs is never put a virtual environment in the Git repo. Because then what happens is then that virtual environment gets uploaded to GitHub and it stops working. It's a waste. It's just nothing.
Oh,
Virtual environments are set up to only work where they're installed. So always put a virtual environment somewhere else other than where your repository is.
Okay, so the folder that we just opened is that's a
A repository?
so because with the get my
Gabby, can I just control your computer? Thanks.
we created a clone on our computer, which is basically if I create a virtual environment, will like in the project file on my computer, then it should be fine.
Yep.
Yeah. As long as I don't push it, like as long as I don't push it.
What?
What?
Don't. So hang on.
So I'm trying to make sense of how this works. I'm just trying to figure out.
So you're asking about virtual environments,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Your virtual environment shouldn't be in your repository.
Yeah.
It should be somewhere else.
Okay.
You can put it anywhere else you want. Doesn't matter where, as long as it's not in your repository.
Okay. Alright.
It's that simple.
Yeah. I don't exactly get how the virtual environment works.
It's just all it is. It's a copy of Python somewhere else on the computer, but it's managed by Python rather than by you.
So technically, you're saying that we shouldn't put it in the file in the.
Do not put it in your repository.
Delete before I.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So Gabby, I'm just going to delete this. Do you have a file open inside that folder? It's like you've got that Flask app open. Can you just close that? Okay, now try to delete that folder. Now run the git clone again. Copy your Flask app, which I put in the folder above. I copied it out. So it's scroll down a bit. You can see there's Flask app there. Near the bottom. Chuck that into Digito. Now let's just try again. See what happens. So we want to add it. It's Flask with a capital F. Not dot, it's underscore. Yep. Not a Git repository. Oh, you have to go in, you've got to go into, you're not in Digito. You've got to go into Digito. CD Digito. Now hit up twice. Yeah. Now commit it. Now push it. Yeah. Can you have you made a private repository? Do you pay for GitHub? Is this a new version of Git that you've installed? You've just installed it? Can you just quickly go download? Can you go download the GitHub desktop? That will run really fast. While you're doing that, I'm going to help Declan.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Thank you, Carson. And Sailor. Good job. Okay, so everyone else is good except for Gabby. Is it okay if I call you Gabby?
Yeah.
Cool. Where is my thing? Okay. So, once you download the GitHub desktop app, you can clone your repository through that, and then run all your commits and publishes through that. And I think that should work. That'll handle all of the login stuff. Okay, so we're I'm gonna just jump. I'm gonna let you leave you behind. Time to go run a bash console. Okay, so we're going to go back to Python Anywhere. And the command prompt that we were running on Windows or Mac, in Python Anywhere, that is called a console. What we want to do is we want to go run a bash console. So in Python Anywhere, go to your consoles and go to bash. We're going to bash some console out. Yeah? It's going to run a web-based version of a console, and it works very similar to the one in Windows. So I can type dir, and that's going to give me the directory where I am. This little squiggle, the tilde sign, is telling me where I am. So if I, and don't follow me on this one, by the way, if I type cd my site, you can see I'm now in squiggle / my site. So I want to go back and I want to do my work at the moment in the squiggle or the root folder. We're going to run the same git command that we ran to clone. So we want to clone our repository on Python Anywhere. So that's git clone. And we copy the address of our GitHub account. Our GitHub repository, sorry. And that downloads. And if I jump over to the files section of my Python Anywhere, you can see my Kleinbottle repository has been downloaded onto Python Anywhere.
Can you run that again?
Cool. I cannot. I can only run it once, but the command is git clone and then your URL. Pardon? What it does is it downloads the latest version of your repository onto Python Anywhere. So if you control-click this little Python symbol, and then go up to Files, you'll see there's your repository will be in there. So there's the default one that we made, my site, and there's Kleinbottle, and whatever you've called yours, right? Cool. If you click into that, you'll see there's that Flask app that you've made. Okay. What did this say? Pardon? No. Oh, okay. Go out of my site. You weren't listening to me when I said, don't do what I'm about to do. So cd space ... enter, and then press up until you get git clone, and you can just have two versions of your app on.
I was listening, but I
Okay,
wasn't.
I don't care. It's all good. People, yeah. I never listened to my teachers, and look where I am now. I'm teaching. Yeah, if anyone disagrees with me, tell me. I want to have an argument. Cool. Okay, now all this does is it puts that file on your Python Anywhere account. Is there someone out waiting to get in? No, okay. Just remember, I have to go into that. I have to go into that folder, CD Klein bottle. Ooh. If I want to be able to run git pull. Okay. So look, now that you've cloned this on there, as you update stuff onto GitHub, all you have to do is jump on this bash console, go into that folder and type git pull, and that'll download the latest version. Git pull, that's all you have to do. Git pull. Git pull, git pull, git pull. Cool? That'll update your web server. All we've got to do now is configure our web server to look at your now GitHub repository rather than that default my site. Okay, and this is where we're going to fiddle with a few things. So we're going to go to the web panel. Gabby, you good now or keeping up? Left way behind? Okay, cool. So in here, what can we see that still refers back to my site? The source code, right? So we need to change this. So we're going to change my site to the name of your GitHub repository. So that's now, rather than pointing at my site, it's pointing at Klein bottle. The working directory doesn't change.
Andrew,
Yeah.
so I closed the bash console and came back into it. Now when I do git
How do you change?
Hang on. Teams person, I've got a person in person asking me a question. So just wait a second.
Oh, sorry.
Declan, can you finish your question?
So he's not in his directory.
Okay, he knows what he's doing now. Okay, go on, Josh.
How do you edit the thing? The code?
The thing. Can you rephrase your question to have more?
The source code. How do you edit the source code?
Which source code? Oh, this.
Yeah.
You click it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
No worries.
I just cannot create web tree and then like credit card and permission denied.
Pardon?
It says like could not create web tree and my credit card name and it's permission denied.
On what? Where are you running this?
This is
Python Anywhere in the bash? Can you share your screen? Who said making websites was easy? Wix.com, that's who said. Pardon? Yes, Squarespace. If Squarespace or Wix are listening, yeah, I wouldn't mind getting a sponsorship, thanks. But you're not, I know you're not. No one's watching this except for students. And they barely watch it. You sharing? Okay, you're in the home folder.
which is not the correct one, I'm guessing.
Yes. You went up outside of. Have you set this up to run Flask yet?
I don't know.
May I
That was like another fault, like files, like messing around with, like, I don't know why it's come like that. So, yeah.
Can you come over here? Because I can't remote into your computer. Okay. let's just kill this console. Web. First, let's get this Python Anywhere set up to
Yeah.
run Flask,
Oh, okay.
right? So what we're going to do is we're going to tell it, hey, we want to run a Flask server under 3.9.
Okay.
What this is going to do is it's going to set up 90% of the files for us for it to work.
Okay.
And what we're about to do is we're going to edit some of those files and structures to work with our new server. So this is now set up a thing called My Site, and it's set up the web server interface thing. It's done majority of the work that we want it to do.
Yeah.
Right? We go back to consoles. We go back to Bash. In this folder structure, we run. You can see the My Site folder. So this is the exact same folder we want to run your Git clone. So
Okay.
so where's your
Folder.
no, not your folder, your Git
Git.
you got
Git. Oh, here.
this is it?
Yeah.
Innovation.
Yeah, I just counted them in.
No worries, it's fine.
Sure.
I don't care what you call it. Okay. Oh, it's already there. Innovation
Yeah.
2110.
Yeah.
It's already there.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so that's fine.
You're done.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So now we're going to go to web. And we want to change that to Innovation 21 or whatever you've called it. Cool? Yeah, it's working. Okay? That's right, man. Okay. Slowly but surely we will get there. And I'm glad we're going slowly because it's giving everyone a chance to just soak it up. You right? Okay. So, we've changed our source code folder, but what else we got to change? In this WSGI file, and when I click on it, it's going to open it. Remember, we've got this variable, project home equals home, Andrew Butler, Cox, my site. We need to change this line, this little piece of text in here, to be our repository name, or otherwise it's not going to know where to look. This system's not going to work. So we have to save that. It's also worth, after you save it, it's also worth pressing this button, reload. Just so that the system knows to rerun the server using this changed file. Make sure you type this in properly, okay? If you don't type it in properly, it won't work.
Am I typing in properly?
The name of your repository folder.
Yeah.
You just open a file.
I'll do it again. You go to web. We've changed the source code folder by clicking on it. And we also want to change the WSGI file. We're going to click on that, and that's going to open that file up for us to edit. And that's where we edit my site and change that to the folder name of your repository. We're almost there. We've got to make a virtual environment. This is always the one that like mucks people up because they only ever have to like the process that we're going through right now. You only have to do it once for every website that you make, and so if you're only making like one website every like year, you totally forget it. Like in a year's time, I'm going to be like, "Hey guys, do you remember how to set up a Python Flask app on Python Anywhere?" And you'll be like, "Oh my god, that was a year ago. I couldn't remember what dictionaries were from Python." And I worked on them a week ago, right? So there's this nice little tutorial here.
Wait. I changed the source code to the repository.
Perfect. And the WSGI file. Sailor's on it.
Just straight to the
Yeah. There's a variable in this script under the name project home. If you don't change that folder name, then everything breaks. Are you good? Kerry's keeping you up to date. Was that a good thing, Kerry? Okay, dude. I'll get everyone else up to a certain point, up to a point where they can play a little bit, and then I'll get Gabriella working. Okay. Okay. So it's in here that we've written. There's this little function that we want to run in the Bash console. So we're going to head back to a Bash console. So just so you're aware, in the web, there's a thing that says more info, which brings up this. And what we want to do is we want to use this line of code here. We're going to edit that line of code because do you remember what version of Python we're using? Well, I'm using 3.9, but just remember your version of Python matters, okay? You need a reminder of what that is. It's written here in your underneath that WSGI file. So keep that number in your mind. Let's go back to a Bash console. It's a lot of back and forward, but we'll get there. We're almost there. What we want to do is we're going to paste that line of code in. So that is MK virtual environment. This text here is text that we want to replace. Okay? And we're going to, yes?
Sorry, do we put that code that you pasted in the folder?
It doesn't matter where you type this, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Okay? You can type it anywhere. So MK virtual environment, we're going to give it a name. Now, the name, we want it to be a nice typable name. And so in this case, I'm going to call mine Flask. It could be whatever you want, okay? You could even make it F if you really want, okay?
What is it doing?
We're doing this in the Bash console.
I know, what is it doing?
We're making a virtual environment. So a virtual environment, just to re-explain it, it's a copy of Python on the server somewhere where you can be a little bit more adventurous with it, right? We can install stuff on there and we're not worried about breaking the main source of Python, okay? So we're making a virtual environment and it's in here that the Python Anywhere team will allow us to install whatever library we want because they won't let us install it on their main version because their main version has to be stable for everyone to use. So this is a special Python environment just for this web server. Does that make sense, Martin? Good.
Are we allowed to use Python 3.9?
Just hang on, Ding Wen. Kerry's asking me a question.
So what's the difference between modifying Python, which is what they don't allow us to do, and installing the libraries?
That's modifying Python. But installing a library is modifying Python.
But like importing library.
That's not installing a library. That's importing an existing library that is installed. So fortunately, Python Anywhere has said, NumPy, that's quite common, we'll install that. And requests, that's very common, we'll also install that. And CSV, we'll install that. What's this Rhino 3DM? We don't trust that. We don't know if it's stable or not, if it's going to break our Python or not. But we're not going to stop you from downloading it and installing it. It's just you have to do that in a virtual environment. Okay? Ding Wen, your question.
Are we allowed to use Python 3.9?
Yes, so I haven't even finished typing out this line of code. We're going to change the name of the virtual environment, and we are also going to change the version of Python to the version that we are using, or otherwise this won't work for us. So we want this to be Python 3.9 or whatever version of Python you saw your web server it was.
Oh,
Yeah?
10 point something.
Yeah, no, it's the Python version that is running on the web server. Cool. Someone had a question online?
Type enter when we finish.
Yes,
typing it.
yes, I know how. Yes, you press enter, Dingwen.
Can we
Hey,
run
Dingwen, now go to your bank account and send BSB3. Are you going to follow everything I say?
No.
Okay, good. Cool. Now, this is a funny thing. We are running Linux on this web server. You are running probably Windows or Mac on your computer. When you make a virtual environment on a Windows machine, you do not make it like what we just made now. What happens is you have to write in a whole different code, and I'm sure, and you've worked that out already, right? What happens is in Windows, the virtual environment gets installed at the location that you run the command. But on Linux, with this particular particular command, it doesn't get installed wherever you write it. Instead, so if I go to files, that virtual environment isn't installed in my client bottle folder. That's why I said it doesn't matter where we type it. Rather, it gets installed into this .virtual environments folder. And so in here you can see there's a folder called Flask. Okay? And so whatever you've named yours will be in that folder structure. It doesn't, in this case, it doesn't matter where it is. You just need to remember what it's called. Working?
It's working.
Working. Okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it's saved. It only matters what it's called. If you ever want to work in the Bash console in that virtual environment, you type work on and then the name of the virtual environment. So work on Flask. If I hit enter, you can see, and actually you might actually already be, once you make a virtual environment, you might already be in it. You can see on the left in brackets is the name of your virtual environment. Yeah? It's in here that I can now type pip install Rhino 3DM. And whoop, look, it installed.
Stay right there.
Yes. Oh, it gets real messy the instant you start looking at eggs.
Does it matter if I do it in caps lock?
Yes.
Yeah, it can work.
Do not yell at your Linux server.
I don't have one.
You do. You've got one. This is a Linux server.
So rather than
Huh? Yeah. Yeah, that's why it's free. Yeah, you never thought you'd have a Linux server, did you?
I didn't exactly know what, like, I don't know what the biggest, like, the big difference is. All I know is that they have different codes to run.
Well, yeah. Look, Linux. Your Linux computer could look like this. This could be all you could see on your Linux computer, and that's why some people find Linux intimidating, because all you get is text, right? So that's what. Yeah, but you can get Linux operating systems that are more like Windows or Mac.
Yeah.
But all our computers run like this with text in the back end. Okay? Now, I can keep going. Now, so we've made a virtual environment and we've used it. We've installed a library on it. We know it exists. We know the name. So, if we jump back to our web server, here, for our web server to get access to that Rhino library we just installed, we need to tell that web server which virtual environment it needs to use to run, or otherwise it doesn't have access. Just like Josh last week, his IDE, when he was trying to run requests, was going, I don't know what the fuck requests are, because the Python version that that was running didn't have request installed. And at the moment, this virtual environment, this web server is using the overarching Rhino 3.9, Python 3.9 that Python Anywhere supplies. So what we have to do is enter the path of the virtual environment that we want. And I wish this was a little bit easier, because they actually require you to type like -home, and it disappears when you start typing it. Your username. Actually, I'm going to just go cheat.
Paste.
Yes, copy and paste. I'm all about that, copy and paste. So we go to Files, we go to Virtual Environments, we go to the virtual environment, and we're just going to copy this.
Copy right to the end.
Can you? Done. Tick. Cool. And look, it just says up here, you need to reload your web app to activate it. So scroll up, and with that little green button, you hit reload. Now I've set this up so if this fails, if the virtual environment's not getting accessed, then we should get an error because it's not able to import that Rhino 3DM. It's one of the main reasons why I put it there, was so that I know you guys have your virtual environment set up. If this breaks, then we need to fix your virtual environments up. But if I just click that link now, it should take me to, okay, something went wrong. Good. I got that. Okay, it's all broken. Good.
Websites. Beautiful.
Why? Start a console in this virtual environment. Does that run a virtual environment? Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Have I spelled Kleinbottle right? No, it shouldn't be. Maybe. Maybe we need to reinstall Flask. Hang on. Reload. Yeah, we have to install Flask. So if you go back to your console, just make sure you're using your virtual environment. We have to run pip install Flask because I forgot. Unlike the Python version on Windows, what happens is it installs everything that's already. I think it installs everything that's already installed on your main one. Well, this doesn't include Flask, so you need to just make sure that's installed. Where is it? Where did I type it in? There it is. Pip install Flask. Hello from Andrew from UNSW Code. Love it. After you've installed Flask, run reload on your server again, and then check back on your main page, and you should have a working Flask server running on the internet. Yes?
I don't.
Cool. Anyone else? You do? Martin? Have you got one working? You got it working? Declan, share your screen. Please. As in, you's got it. May I? Your username's table.
Yeah.
Your folder is the idea.
Mm-hmm.
The WSGI is pointing at the idea. That looks all good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pardon? Your virtual environment is called environment
Mm-hmm.
or env.
Yep.
Ah,
They have a bash. Is that what you wanted?
yep. Jeez, chill out with your mouse, mate.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
What are you doing? Pip install Flask.
Yeah, I did that.
Pip install Rhino 3DM. Ah, okay. For those of you who are using your Hops app, you're gonna have to start installing some other things. Okay. If I look at, is this where your code's written?
That's what, yeah.
Ah, dude, your code's the thing that's breaking your webpage. See, import Rhino 3DM import.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to break it. Okay. So here's one extra test I want you to guys run. If you go to a command prompt and you try and run your Flask app through that prompt. Oops. Python Flask app.py. You can see it'll error if there's something wrong with your code. Like, and it'll tell you where the error is. So in the case of Declan, he wrote that import there. So if I resave that file, cannot import the name Flask. So your Python doesn't have Flask?
Yeah, my Python has a Flask as well.
Isn't it a capital F?
Wait. No, but your code is
Oh no, it's the opposite. It's the opposite.
not working.
From little f Flask, import big F Flask. It should.
Different problem.
No module named Rhino 3DM. Pip install Rhino 3DM.
I'm pretty sure I did that at least once somewhere.
Yeah, you did it on Python anyway, right?
Yeah.
Name Flash not defined.
I just so you know, the first time I wrote all that, I wrote it all as Flash instead of Flask.
Oh yeah.
So didn't
We've also got to make sure that we use the right Have you seen Flash Gordon, the movie?
Nope.
Okay. It is an awful movie. It's so awful. It's amazing.
Like The Room.
Huh?
Like
It's
The Room.
awful or amazing?
It is so awful that it's amazing.
Is it better or worse than The Room?
Then what?
The Room.
It's better than The Room. It's better. It's not. It's more like this campy 80s movie. It is the music is all done by Queen. Because I think Freddie Mercury liked the comic book, and he's like, I'm doing. Have you ever heard like dun 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 dun, dun Flash? Ah! That's a Queen song from that movie. There you go.
You mean the Queen? That band Queen?
Yeah, that band called Queen. Yeah. Okay, hang on. We got to get Flask working. Flask object has no attribute root. What?
No, I didn't.
No.
You did.
That's how you spell root.
No, it's route. Like,
Well, I spelled root right.
You
I
did.
didn't spell route. Oh, that route. Oh.
okay, we're almost there.
What?
Okay, it ran. It's running. Yeah, it's running. Cool. Okay, so now we're gonna do git commit fix flash. Oh, we shouldn't have to run git add twice, do we? Cool. We're in the idea, right? Yes, git pull. Look at me go, it's fixed. We gotta refresh.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you gotta log in as well. Log back in. Who has it working?
No, it's going to be working. Don't
Not
leave
sure.
it.
Oh, okay, so what, did you try using your Hops server instead? The Hops version server? Because do you need to install other things? Do you need to install a few other things before it works?
I've got my password.
Great.
Alright, you guys can't watch me reset my password.
Okay, well then stop sharing, mate. Okay, okay, Carson, do you mind sharing your screen so I can fix yours? For those of you who have it working, have a go at writing another function. So, see this app route. Those of you who, I'm not sharing my screen, hang on. Try writing another function. So, this guy here is where you put stuff at the end of your URL. So, right? So that's your web page / and something that you type, and you get a definition. You can name it whatever you want, and you can return whatever value. So it's in here that you can do your requests. You know, you can do a web request to another web page and return a dictionary or whatever. So give it a go. You know, try returning. a dictionary that says value what one or whatever. Just start having it play around. Push that to your Git page and start pulling it on Python anywhere. It's not working. You just so see requests. You might have to install that as well. No, on Python in the virtual environment.
No one.
What? Okay, let's get you up to speed.
Yes, sir.
It worked?
I don't know.
You just went, yes, sir. Is it Carson?
Oh, my username on my
Actually working.
Oh, did you get the GitHub desktop thing working? Okay, so you're currently in the digital repository.
Yes, sir. What?
So this is now saved somewhere else.
This is the old one.
It's saved in
Are you not in the
So,
virtual?
but you originally saved
Like as a
you need
it did a research kind of thing with class. And it was like yeah, it was for Slack. So you can put the current webinar and there's like some other things you get. There's like
Cool. So see that?
information about
This is committing that. So it's just a manual way of doing it, like a button pressing way.
that's right.
And
That's
see that push?
why.
See if we're doing a push. It's just this app is now managing the login details because you logged in as yourself into this app.
Yeah,
It's worked.
I got it working. It works.
So if you're going to make any changes, make changes to this one. The one in Documents GitHub Digito. Now, do you feel like you can keep going or? Okay.
Thank you.
No worries.
Andrew.
Yeah.
When you get the chance, can you double check on Android's installed Sublime, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Like after you help fix
Sure.
people's things.
Working?
Yeah, I got something on. I don't know why.
Did you press the reload button?
Route 9.
Did you see you know how we have those things?
Oh, okay.
Did you?
Is
No, that's right.
that alright?
This is all good.
Okay.
Go for it.
And you
So,
Try that. Try running that commit. You two are dandy. So have you got an idea of now what you're doing? Kind of? Yeah. Good. Good. Good.
It's commit then push, right?
Yeah. What's that?
No, it's alright.
uh,
It's fine.
Do you mind if I turn the lights on?
Yeah.
You do?
No.
I still can't with the something went wrong.
Hang on, yeah.
Hey Andrew.
Give me a sec. Is that Josh?
Yeah,
Give me a sec, Josh. I'll be with you in a minute.
all good.
What's wrong with your?
No, I installed it myself and I don't know if I did it right.
Looks like you did, right?
Okay. So I just installed Python through like the package thing. Oh, I hello from just delete it. The system can't find the file that exists. I knew I did something wrong.
It's very hard to install this the wrong way. So I can't imagine what you did.
Still my side, bro. You didn't say.
There's- That's so So there are two Python tests.
It's probably because I did VS Code first.
That's fine. This one that we're running is Anaconda.
Updated version.
Um,
So that'd be good.
and then so when we're running, when we build, neither of these two work. This one can't see the file that you're trying to run, and this one has a weird bug in it. It says pi is a recognized internal or external command.
Yeah, of course.
Everything works. We get pulled
Save it.
It's actually the starting itself.
In your file, you pull from your GitHub repository.
Oh, it's the.
So you have to, you select it, pull the file back from GitHub.
Oh, thanks.
So what's this other console?
That should be correct.
A console that you just created.
And if you go to it anyway.
So what's this one?
This one is,
Okay,
So-
so this is something that's wrong.
every time you press console,
There's a
create
page
a
on
new
anywhere that has like there's like a log.
Yeah.
like without coding, you use.
Go
Actually, the console
to
is just to,
like web.
Uh,
And
Why do I have two
so
consoles?
there's a log file.
Whatever it is.
Yeah,
Put
that's
it-
like
put it on there.
There might be something in there.
See how this goes.
Oh, right now, yeah, the syntax is wrong. It's from
Thinking.
from Rhino 3 and
So inline. It's a
you
load.
change this. You change it.
they have to do it again.
Before I do that, I just like stay on there.
Fixed. It's just that Python code thing.
Right, okay.
If it ever happens again, as in like you try and install Sublime in the future, install Python after you install Sublime, make sure it's on the path, and you should be alright.
Cool.
Hang on, I said I'd help Josh,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
talk to
yeah.
him. Josh. Hello, Josh.
Yeah. When I open up the website, comes up as something went wrong.
Okay,
I'll
let-
share my screen.
let me have a. Do you mind sharing your screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so many things could go wrong. So
Yeah.
the first thing to test is, does the code that you wrote work on your computer?
Right.
Let's check that. So we've got to run that Python code.
So what, do I go to VS Code for that?
Yeah, sure. So let's use Python. So type Python flask _ app.py. Are we? Yeah, we're running soundbar.
Fast underscore.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Python. Yeah.
Flask app.py.
Yep. Okay, so see app equals name.
Yeah.
You need that. That is not. I think you've missed the flask. So you need to add at the beginning of that, at the bit before the bracket, just before the bracket, you need to add capital F LASK. Save it and then try rerun it.
Just run that.
Yep, just press up and hit enter. Cool, that's running. That means
Right.
there's nothing wrong with your code. So now, is this working for you, Eddie? Is it? It's, but it's not. Is it working on your machine? On your computer? Okay, I'll talk to you in a bit. So, Josh, you need to commit this.
So just the git push or?
You'll need to do a git commit first. Yep. Oh shit! You got to do the -a. You got to add the file every time. That's annoying. I'll work out how to. I'll play around and work out how you don't have to do that. So git add flask _ app.py. Wake up, Eddie. No.
Alright, got that one.
Yep. Yep. Push. Git push. Cool. Now let's go to your Python Anywhere server. Good. Is it working for you, Sailor? Okay. We want to run we want to run git pull in the command. The bash, yeah. We're in soundbar, so yeah, do git pull. Cool. Reload the server. That green button that you pushed. And now let's check that web page. Yay!
Cool. Thank you.
Nice. Okay. Eddie. Do you need some air or something? See you, Carson. You're not coming back.
I was just thinking.
I can purchase bottles of oxygen.
Pardon?
You can actually purchase bottles of oxygen.
Yeah, I know you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's all. Can't you do that in Futurama? Wasn't that a joke or something? Yeah. Yes, so now you can buy bottles of fresh air in China, right?
No, it wasn't even in China. Actually, but no, it's actually the idea behind it was when you go to like higher elevated areas.
Yeah, you can buy bottles of oxygen.
Yeah, because it's.
That's been around forever.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
It's like medicine. People just need oxygen.
Yeah, but like no, but like you can actually just purchase bottles and you just casually just carry around. It's like
Yeah, but people aren't
yeah, but like
people aren't buying those like tennis canisters of air to go up into high altitudes so that they don't faint, right?
No. I mean like no, but
They're
like
buying actual like liquefied oxygen.
yeah, no, but like this is like.
What do you mean liquefied oxygen?
It's liquefied. If you store oxygen at pressure, it will eventually liquefy, and then you can actually store it like in less space than what it normally takes up as a gas.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
And it's at that point that you can actually see its colour, which is blue.
Well, that's a big surprise.
Yeah,
It's not real.
it is.
What are you talking about? Of course oxygen will be blue.
Yeah.
It'd be surprising if it was like pink.
Yeah, but it's blue.
Isn't it like gasoline pink or something?
I don't know.
Yeah. It depends. A certain refinement of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello world. The app is called Flask. So this isn't running.
Yeah, I just tried to reload it.
Do you have Flask installed?
I mean, this is what comes up. Plus, I don't know. Yeah. Is it? I was looking at it. It was. I think it's been installing in a different folder if I'm reading it correctly. So I don't know.
This Python.
Like in RoboDK, I don't know why it's in there.
Yeah. Some of you have. So when we run. Why isn't this not working? I'm gonna set up your interpreter.
Where do you just go?
How do you get up? You know that little thing that the pop up? Not this one. This is searching for a file. I want to go to. Where's your thingy thing?
What are you looking for? The
You say that.
Well, yeah. She was sitting next to us as well.
Well, how's did you you uploaded the data and summed it up?
command?
To the repository. You did the git, commit, and then push.
Command palette.
So,
Oh yeah, you can just.
so that's all right now? Yeah?
Okay.
Then you
Select interpreter. Okay. This is currently using this one. But the one that you installed here to is RoboGK Python 3.7. So let's use that one.
Okay.
did you refresh your web thing there?
Oh,
Yeah, you did.
wait, but how come it was like installing to
that's
there? Like,
Because that's that in your Windows version of Python is base version is that RoboGK one.
oh, okay. Oh, okay. Interesting. This RoboDK is an application online.
I know, but what it's done is it's made itself the main version of Python on your computer.
Right.
So now if we go Python Flask app.py, ta-da, it's running.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Alright.
so look, we shouldn't have this I don't think we should have this in your code. We might need it if we're running it on the server.
Yeah.
So we'll just do that.
Okay.
Then we're going to do a git add flask app.py git commit git push. Then we're going to go to here and do a git call. Ta-da! And then we're going to restart the server.
Yeah. And refresh.
Now, this could work. And it does.
Okay.
So.
That's weird. Like it's.
Don't worry, it happened to Josh last week as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Josh also has RoboDK, which was like controlling his computer.
Yeah, I was looking. I was like, cause like I was looking at like rewatching that. I was like, but then I got it working, and then now it like just stopped working. So I don't know what I did to make it not work. So
Yeah, well now you know.
okay.
So,
Andrew, I tried to help it with my expertise, but it wasn't.
that's fine. Thank you for attempting. It sounds like you two have been copying each other on listening, which is good. No, other way. Yeah, lift up. Something went wrong. Okay. Is this running on your computer without any problems? Yes, it is. So there's nothing wrong with your code. Let's have a look at it just in case. It looks good. So, this all looks good. That's correct. You're using Python 3.7.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know if I should update it or if I just get.
Did you when you installed your virtual environment, did you make sure that was Python 3.7 rather than 9?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mhm.
I'm gonna check just in case. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter much. It's not.
Should I get 3.9?
Doesn't matter.
3.10?
It shouldn't matter.
Oh.
Don't worry. So those of you who have a hops, like are going to set up hops servers, try and get your hops server onto Python Anywhere. What's going on here? Python.
Yeah, I have to go on this one.
We're going to consoles. Yeah, this is 3.7. Okay, that's good. You are in the tar pit. You've used up a lot of your. You've used up 240 seconds of your 100 seconds, and it will reset in 23 hours.
What?
Carson, do you mind going to your Python Anywhere dashboard, please? What did you do?
Use my usage.
She's overloaded her server.
What? You can do that?
Yeah, see the CPU usage?
Yeah,
What does it say?
38%.
38%?
Yeah.
What have you been doing?
I don't know.
Well, what's wrong?
Like, do I have too many tabs? Or like,
Oh my gosh, I'm on 95.
It resets every day, by the way. And by the way, once you hit 100%, it just slows down. It doesn't stop.
Well, it stopped for her.
No.
No, it's got a 240 over 100.
Oh,
So she's got. It's still not stopped. It says she's in the tar pit, and when it says it just slows down. Being
240%.
No, second.
I'm trying to run a country off the environment, virtual environment.
you haven't installed the Rhino Tree
Oh,
which was in that code, right?
yeah. I put in the other bash.
So pip install.
Andrew, when you're free, I just have one quick question.
Yeah, I'll be with you in a minute.
What's that?
I'm also having problems.
Yeah, I was like, it wasn't super comfortable with that. What?
Oh
You
well,
sound like-
I'm having problems as well.
Okay, yeah, I'll be with internet people in a bit.
Just wait.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be with you in a minute.
yeah, it's all good.
yeah, all good. Okay, this is
See, this is what it was like when I was teaching you guys. Like when you were all at home last year. All I had was, except for you, was like, you know, a letter and a name, a letter and a name, and people would just flash on and off. And Dingwen was like, obviously the one I'm talking about. And there's me with my dorky work photo.
I know you're working at your office. You're in the class at your office.
Huh?
We couldn't see that we had cameras.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was. Yeah, that office has changed now. I'm no longer that. There was no one. There was no one around, right? There's barely anyone in the office when I was teaching you guys. Like it was kind of like lockdown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, this is going to take a while because it's you're in the tar pit, so I'm going to go help
Okay.
people who aren't in the tar pit. And so the trick, guys, is you do the majority of your work on your local machine. You know, all your testing, all of that stuff. You get it working, and once it's working, then you send it off to your server. So you're not constantly updating that server with all that new stuff. Cool.
Push it.
Pardon?
We work locally. Push it.
Yeah, commit it, push it,
Push and then
pull it.
from the virtual batch, console.
From the bash console. Yeah, you know what you're doing. You do everything we did today. Okay. Who wants to go first?
You go first, but
When you can go if you want.
you guys first. No worries. I got a whole bucket of things.
I
Okay.
just had a quick question on the next step.
Yep.
It was just like what do you so I'll share my screen quickly.
Go for it.
Won't take too long. So in VS Code you said basically do the same thing.
Yeah,
What
there's a
do you
look.
think?
I can see one issue here. Your definition name is exactly the same, so you should.
So that needs its name.
That needs to be at least different. But look, if you're someone who is going to use Grasshopper this term, so there should only be 3 people who aren't, and I don't think you're one of them.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, so you should start trying to get that tutorial that you did to get hops to connect to Flask.
Yeah.
Start moving that tutorial into this app. And then try and get your hops, rather than getting your hops function connecting to your local machine, try get it connect to your Python Anywhere machine.
Right.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. Alright. Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Sarah?
Yeah. So I realized I had an error in my like Sublime code, like way back all the way at the beginning. So I tried to redo like
No, that's fine. We're all loading.
I tried to like do all of like the git add and git commit, all the like the command prompt stuff.
Yep.
And it seems like it's not erroring anywhere. It's not being angry. And then it seems to have, when I go into GitHub online,
Yep.
it looks fine. It comes up with a new like name that I've called it.
Go. Can you just share your screen so I can see?
Yeah, sure. I feel like now I'm like going in circles and I don't know where I am anymore.
That's fine. Look, this is you're looking at the world from a very different perspective right now, so it's all good. So let's go to your GitHub.
Oh, that's on a different computer. Yeah.
You can guess what? You can go onto it on this computer as well. It's a website, so you should be able to get to it. Jeez, Microsoft Bing gives GitHub as doesn't even give the main page. I think you got one of the coolest like auto-generated symbols. It looks like a skull or something. Looks like a face. Okay. Yeah, look, it's like a skull wearing sunglasses. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so which one are we working on? Are we working on code 2120 or code 2120 SF?
Just code 2120.
Okay, so is that Flask app the correct one? Just open it. Does that look all up to date?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let's jump over to the Python Anywhere Bash console. So right now we're in code 2120, the repository.
Yeah.
Can we just run it looks like you've already done this, but can we just do a git pull? It's going to say it's already up to date. Cool. Now let's go. Look, the one other thing you have to do whenever you update the information on your server is you have to reset the server.
Okay.
So if you go to the web dashboard,
The dashboard, yeah.
you missed everything.
Wait, what do you mean?
Oh no, Eddie's falling asleep.
Oh.
Hit that green button.
Yeah. I tried all of this, but it's like not erroring. Like my website isn't erroring. It's just like not changing the.
Yeah. Let's go check that web page. Okay, so hang on. Let's just quickly go check your file. So, may I control this just for a sec? Thank you. I hate it when things don't work, but the trick in life is learning how to make things work, right?
Yeah.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to go check this file and see what is going on.
I think.
So that says hello world from Sarah UNSW Sarah UNSW code, but that's not saying that, right?
Yeah. I think I messed up in my virtual environment, but I don't know if that's true.
Maybe. So that's correct?
Yep.
This.
Oh no.
This is pointing at my site.
Okay.
So you've got it.
Change that in two different places.
Yeah. We have to change it in two places. So we need to change that to the code 2120.
Oh, okay. So is it which button, save or this one? Or both?
Both. That one and then the refresh.
Oh, maybe
and then you're going to be pleasantly surprised. So go refresh your page. So
Just valuable.
no, this one.
Amazing.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much.
Cool. Ding Wen,
Oh,
let's deal with the bucket of problems.
okay. Okay, things are a bit weird.
Yep.
Not sure I'm doing the right thing or not. Okay, double check. We having one virtual environment, right? And that's the code. And I'm not that's working directionary, right?
No. The virtual environment is the thing that is it's a virtual environment. It's the thing in that virtual environment section. See the virtual env? It's just underneath the 3.9. That's your virtual environment,
Yep.
right? And yours is called Flask.
Yep.
Yep. Cool.
And when I'm running it, so running a code like under this folder.
You don't run it in the folder. Here, may I?
Right.
What you're doing is what we're all doing is we're setting up a system where a web server is running that code. Not like we don't have to press run. The web server is running anytime someone accesses that URL. So we don't run it here. What we do is we run it.
The third one. Oh, no, the first one.
Well, that's it there.
So that's working or not?
Yeah. Well, your main page is returning link start, and your code wherever it is, I've lost it. Look, what have you told it to do? When you run app root / return a string that says link start, right? So yeah, it's totally working. If we put in this URL, I really hope this works. / URL end. It returns a dictionary with username Kirito. Cool?
Yeah, that's my computer username. So whatever.
Yeah. But it's working, dude. It's working.
Yeah. Double check. So and the data uplink string is working because the git push command does push things.
Yeah, it has to have worked. Is this the latest version of your code?
Yep.
So it's all working. You've made it all work.
All right. Double check. That's good. And updated 2 hours ago. 2 comments. Has username. Yeah, 35 minutes ago. Great. And that's okay. Then the practice question. Sharon was asking about something like what we need to submit today and next week.
Next week. Okay, so you guys have been playing around with your ideas for what type of web service you can make, right? Now,
I can show you the PowerPoint.
I believe that you've done it. Okay, I'm talking about everyone. So everyone's been playing around with their idea. What I'd like you to do is start trying to implement that idea now on Flask, on Python Anywhere. It might be, you might have chosen something that's really, really big, a really big idea that is unachievable in the time frame that we have. I just want you to start having a go at it, okay? Start writing your own Python and host it on Python Anywhere. And if you are a code student, connect hops up to that server. And if you are not a code student, connect Python or Excel up to that server. Okay?
That hops is that great looking thing.
Yes.
Grasshopper, right?
Yes. you will need to install another thing on your Python virtual environment on Python Anywhere, which is you'll have to install that GHOPS server library that they teach you have to install. You know, when you watch that video.
Oh.
My suggestion is go back and watch that video with the fact in mind that you are going to start hosting this on Python Anywhere, not just your computer. Okay?
Okay, so we all right. So I put the that's in a virtual environment. Okay, done.
Yep. And look, all I want from you guys for the rest of this assignment is working code, right? I want things that work. I don't really care about you writing reports or anything like that. I want to see you guys starting to write your own Python code and have it hosted. We've all hit sort of like a major breakthrough today. You've all set up a website that runs on Python and you're controlling it through your GitHub account. It's pretty good, right? Yeah. For some of you, you've never coded ever like this, like properly like this, and you've got a website hosting a code. Some of you, it might be a bit slow, but tomorrow it will be faster. So we'll get it, like, we're on track. It's good.
All right. So today's submission is the PowerPoint, and next week's will be like progress check.
I don't think it's due next week. I think it's due the week after. It is due. Okay, it's due week 4. If you guys are struggling this week, let me know. Okay, just send me an email and be like, Andrew, I'm struggling. I'm at this point and I'm struggling. I feel like I need another week. I will work out an extension for you if you need it. But next week we have to start the second assignment. Okay.
So is the PowerPoint the thing that's the Turnitin submission due tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it a Turnitin thing?
I think there's like 3 submission links total.
Yeah, I don't have control of that anymore because I'm not the course coordinator. I used to let these guys just like email me the submissions. Someone was like, oh, what about plagiarism? Like, what if the students plagiarize work? I'm like, I don't think any of my assignments the students could plagiarize unless they got it from another student. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, where could you download any of this shit to stick on?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, I really, Declan.
I'm gonna try to fix that.
I've had a student in the past, which who is someone I think has paid someone to do this work for them, and it's made me think like, how can I catch that? But it's really hard. It's hard.
Do you know who we paid?
No. But just know, if you try it on me, it will force me to try and work out how to stop it. I've got some ideas. Like if I give you a Grasshopper script that you have to work from, and you have to start using the script now. So like in class, I give you the script, you have to open the script up, and I log your computer's like MAC address and shit like that. And if you ever want to work on another computer, you have to like register with me which computer you work on. That might be a way of doing it, because this guy's he's getting someone else to do it. They're doing the work. They're sending it to him. Do you know where I'm coming from? Yeah. But the only reason I thought of this is because I just don't trust one person. Like, you guys haven't broken my trust. It was this one person that broke that trust.
How did you find it?
Oh, he suddenly went from like one of the worst students I've ever had to actually doing like a reasonable amount of work. And as well, he went above and beyond what I asked him to do in class. Like when I say above and beyond, I had not taught him how concrete beams worked in a building, like framing, like concrete framing beams, or the way hobs work, or the way lift cores work in certain structures. And suddenly he's giving me this building that has like all of that stuff modeled.
What is this in?
Huh?
What is this in? That he,
This class?
so he was coding.
No. He had paid someone else to code that stuff.
He, okay. Don't worry, you just scared me. Don't worry.
What I just said, which sounded really scary, is something I don't need you guys to do in this class.
Yeah, I know, but like, I don't even understand how I'm going to come. Anyway.
How you're ever going to be at that stage of your
Yeah,
career.
I can't like imagine. See, with like some software, you can like imagine like in the future once you're better with designing all this stuff. But I can't even imagine that with coding.
That's a good thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Look. Right now, you guys are doing the most difficult design process you can think of. It's the hardest one. Architects might seem like they're doing the hardest one because they have to put the most blood, sweat, and tears into the process. But you guys have to put the brain power into it. Like you have to actually change the way you think to be able to do this degree, right? Like suddenly you're like, oh, I've got to design a shape, but I've also got to know how, like the process and the maths and the coding that goes into making that shape. And in my opinion, it is far better to learn the more difficult, more powerful way of doing it, because you're going to have absolutely more control over life. Over your career and over what you're doing in your design environment. Like I think, and I might be putting words into Sarah and Danae's mouths here, but they've never seen a class like this in their engineering degrees. And this is probably the first time that I'm talking about things that are going to help them with their jobs, possibly. You know, like this, like the, like learning about concrete's really important and learning about steel is really important, but no one sort of sat down with them and said, hey, this is how data works and this is how you connect data to Excel and this is some really clever ways to work with that data. And you guys, this is the core of what you're learning about design, right? And I can tell you now, everyone in their minds is thinking that architects, their lives, or designers, their lives are like, oh, we sit down and we draw something and it looks good and, you know, you sit back and you go, yes. Now that might be the life of like some Italian design director somewhere. But you guys are going to move out of this course into the industry and you guys are going to be expected to be using Revit on a day-to-day basis. You're going to be expected to be modeling data into that Revit environment. You're going to have people like Danae checking your work and signing it off or not. And it's all going to be about like whether or not you've ticked a box or stamped a thing right or coordinated with a consultant properly. Like that's the bread and butter stuff that we do. Fortunately for you, you guys are going to be able to skip jump over some of the more boring work that architects end up doing when they enter their careers. So like detailing toilets. I've never detailed a toilet. I think it's a valuable thing to do. I've never done it.
It's boring as fuck.
I can agree. I totally agree with you. I've seen it. I've watched teams of experienced people detailing toilets for stadiums. You know, there's thousands of toilets, right? I don't have to touch that. I get to work on the roof. I get to work on the facade. And I got to do that immediately. So it's a really interesting environment that you guys are in, because once you get into the industry, hopefully you'll be doing the more exciting things in that design environment because you know how to do them. the architecture grads, they don't know how to do them. They're being taught how to be design directors, and then they get into the industry, and the industry doesn't want to give them a design director role because you have to work for 40 years before you get to do that. So yeah, it's a bit interesting. And I'm not saying, by the way, I retract what I said. You probably learn other things that are important in your other degrees, but this is like one of the more like, ooh, this is, yeah. Why am I ranting about this, and why am I doing this 20 minutes after I was meant to leave? Everyone's good?
Yeah.
Okay, have fun making weird websites, okay? Making data websites.
Thank you.
Bye. Yeah, jump on it tomorrow, but it should work now. Thank you.